it had been incorporated. That little bitty tiny town of Maxwell had been incorporated into the bigger town of Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a farm. We had 5 acres. Okay. My mother was a housekeeper. Did she work last week? No. Is she seeking work? No. And this is who lives here. Harvey Parr. He's the head of the house. Then my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joseph Mendez, that's me, stepson. And then Happy. I'm 11, Hap's 9, Peggy. Well, they have Patricia Parr, but that should be Peggy.
Peggy.
So they made a mistake
They
there.
put 2 Patricias.
Yeah, so there is only one Patricia, and that was the 4-year, my sister.
When did your name change to Parr, too?
Well, my dad, my stepdad, he had started all kinds of legal paperwork, and my mother, and that was supposed to be changed. I don't know when it was finally done. I got the paperwork on it.
Yeah.
Does the Elizabeth Parr in this record match the person in your tree? Yep. This O'Sullivan Mucal, I checked that out. I wanted to find out a little bit more. And that is a, what do you call it, where you take the dead people?
A mortuary?
Yeah, when you view the body.
Yeah, like a funeral home?
Funeral home. That's a funeral home name. And apparently my stepdad, Harvey, his first wife, who died young after she gave birth to Happy and Peggy, she died.
How? She was sick?
I don't know. But the rites were performed at the funeral home called O'Sullivan Mucal. Okay. My mother was married before. Carmen, my sister, my half-sister, her husband, his last name was Boyozos. Boyozos, yeah. This is where they arrived.
Wow.
On Ellis Island. And this is the and you can see here Harvey D. Parr. He's the head of the house. He was a service manager at a motor company, which is what he always did. And then my mother, not a citizen. Is he or she naturalized? No. She's not a citizen. I knew these people like Harry Becker, Walter Ems. I still connect with his son, Ray, who's my age, and we were in the same elementary school, all through elementary school at Immaculate Conception, and high school. And here's Ray. Here's the son. Interestingly, Ray, when he was a little boy, right about that time, maybe even a year or two before then, he was on his property. They lived down the road from us. On his property, there was an old barn. And he was playing on the second floor of that old barn. and the rotten boards gave way,
Uh,
and he fell. As he's falling, his right arm, I think it was his right arm hits a high tension electric wire, a
oh.
220, and it fried just the instantaneous hitting fried that arm. And then he fell. Had he lodged on that, it would have killed him.
Yeah.
But he was falling, and just the instant it fried that arm. And he was out of school for a while, and when he came back, they had to graft from his legs where it fried the arm. They had to graft that a chunk of flesh on there. And what was interesting was he never could use that arm really as you should, but his left arm grew in strength, and he was a champion ball player.
Wow.
He would take the bat, and he carried his glove, his baseball glove, under his arm, and he'd bat the ball, and then he'd grab the glove and shove the glove on his arm, and he'd catch the ball when they threw at him.
Wow.
And what was interesting was that flesh that they grafted onto his arm, and it was a shriveled arm.
Yeah.
It came from a part of him as he matured. It grew a lot of hair.
That's funny.
It grew where you don't have hair. Where it grew, apparently the hair follicles, man, it just grew real thick. We didn't say anything. We didn't say anything because, But anyway, that was Ray. And
And he lived next to you?
he lived down the road to the right. And then right across the street from them lived the Wilkinsons. And here's the Wilkinsons right here. Roy, the dad, and Joe. I went to school with Joe. And Robert here, he was the same age as me. And Robert was a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
And one day we're out playing in the front yard of Immaculate. We're playing dodge the ball or whatever. And Robert got so mad at me. I don't know why. To this day, I couldn't tell you why. But he picked up a rock and threw it at me, and I ducked, and it hit my head, and I still have the scar.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Somewhere right in here, there's a scar right here. And when I woke up, I was in the 2-story rock house right off to the side where the nuns lived.
Whoa.
And I wake up, and there's a nun hovering over me. And I said, what happened, and what's going on? And my head hurts, and she says, Robert hit you in the head with a rock. And the pillow was bloody, and they patched it up. They patched me up, and
That's scary.
I still carry on my head a scar that Robert Wilkinson hit me with, a rock. Nobody, you didn't file charges, right?